That's more. So
Yeah, K through 12. Well, preschool
Can't
through
argue with
12th
their
grade
logic.
here at Milton. I went to preschool at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church there next to you.
Welcome to the West Milton Council meeting for
Yes. Hurst.
yes.
Fogel.
Abstain.
Dorman.
Yes.
Grudich.
Yes.
And Mayor Miller.
yes. Thank you. We should have also received minutes for the meeting in July 10th and workshop on July 24th. Are there any motions for those minutes?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the council minutes from the council meeting on July the 10th, 2018, and the council workshop on July 24th, 2018.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Land.
Yes.
Cobb.
Yes.
Hurst.
Yes.
Fogel.
Yes.
Dorman.
Yes.
Grudich.
Yes.
And Mayor Miller.
Yes. This evening, Manager Klein, are there any correspondence to council?
No, Mayor, none this evening.
Thank you. Moving on to comments from citizens regarding tonight's legislation. There are 4 pieces of legislation on the agenda tonight. A resolution for employee health care for the South Water Tower for delinquent accounts, and then an ordinance for the supplemental code. All right, seeing that there are no comments, moving on to CM-18-26, resolution for employee health care. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution to authorize the municipal manager to contract with Anthem for employee health insurance. Whereas the municipality of West Milton has consistently provided health insurance benefits to its full-time employees and desires to continue to provide such benefits. And whereas the current health insurance contract ends August 31st, 2018. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the Council authorizes the municipal manager to execute the proper contractual documents with Anthem for a policy term of 1 year from September 1st, 2018 through August 31st, 2019, at the various rates as provided by McGowan Brabender, Dayton, Ohio. Section 2, the Council further authorizes the Finance Director to make necessary deposits into the proper employee health savings account not to exceed 50% of the deductible of the plan they choose. Such deposits shall be made in increments with 50% in September of 2018 and the remaining balance equally split in January and May of 2019. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage.
Thank you. Manager Klein?
Nothing really to add. It's an annual ordinance on behalf of the employees. We thank you for helping for providing our health insurance coverage. For those in the audience, we were very happy to, council's agreed with our recommendations. We're staying with Anthem. It's actually, I've been here since 2012, and in every one of my years, we have either changed the plan, changed something about it. I'm just happy to say that there's no changes. There is an average increase of around 12% in the premiums, but it's the continuous coverage, and this will be the first time we've had that in 2 years. So, thank you.
Any other comments for the legislation? Any motions?
Make a motion, we accept resolution CM-18-26 as read.
Roll call, please.
Land.
Yes.
Cobb.
Yes.
Hurst.
Yes.
Fogel.
Yes.
Dorman.
Yes.
Grudich.
Yes.
And Mayor Miller.
Yes. Moving on to CM-18-27, a resolution for South Water Tower.
It's a resolution to authorize the municipal manager to contract with Horizon Brothers Painting for painting of the South Water Tower. Whereas the municipality of West Milton has a responsibility to maintain a safe and secure water distribution system. And whereas the municipality of West Milton recognizes the need to ensure that the South Water Tower is properly maintained. And whereas this project was properly bid according to Chapter 33.18 of the West Milton Administrative Code. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the council authorizes the municipal manager to execute the proper contractual documents with Horizon Brothers Painting of Howell, Michigan, in the amount of $295,300 for the project of painting the South Water Tower. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage.
Well, this is my mea culpa moment. Last summer, we bid out both the north and the south towers. We chose to do one tower at a time. We contracted with the lowest and best bid, the Horizon Brothers from Pennsylvania. And we contracted with them to do the north tower. Then we put together a financial plan to be able to pay back that loan from OWDA. And then we decided we were going to do the south tower. We put it in this year's budget. In the spring, council passed a resolution authorizing the finance director and myself to make the proper applications for another OWDA loan. We were successful, got an excellent rate, 0.65%. And over the winter, before winter, Horizon Brothers, knowing that we were going to do the South Tower, asked us, hey, can we just leave our equipment here in town at the South Tower, which they did, no problem. We did everything with OWDA, and then Horizon Brothers called us up and had said, hey, weather's broke, we'd like to put you on the schedule. Nope, no problem. They came in, we opened up the gate, they did excellent work, and they did the tower. So then we're wrapping up the project. Everything, all the bills have been paid, everything's been done. And then the finance director came in to me, and this is a little bit of an exaggeration, but she said, this is my North Water Tower contract, and this is my South Water Tower file. She said, there's a problem here. So once we researched it, we realized that council authorized us to borrow the money and authorized it in the budget, but we forgot to ask for a resolution authorizing me to sign a contract. So I apologize. We're moving way too fast. Horizon Brothers didn't catch it. Our engineers didn't catch it. And obviously I didn't catch it. But to let you know how the work went, I've asked Tom to show you a before picture of what the tower looked like. And then Tom did have a short video to show you what the project now that it's finished, what the new tower looks like. So on the left is your before picture, very rusty, lots of antennas attached over the years. And then obviously on the right is the project finished. So I have nobody to blame but myself, and I apologize. I did call each of the council members apologizing to them that I've put this resolution on after the fact, but to protect our law director when it comes to audits 2 years from now, we really need to have this piece of legislation passed.
Make a motion that we accept resolution CM. Do we need to fix the north versus south first?
I marked it, yeah.
Okay, so make a resolution, or make a move that we accept resolution CM-18-27 as read. Second.
Roll call, please.
Land.
Yes.
Cobb.
Yes.
Hurst.
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Dorman.
Yes.
Grudich.
Yes.
And Mayor Miller.
Yes.
CM-1828, a resolution for delinquent accounts. Ms. Blanche.
A resolution to certify delinquent water, sewer, and refuse accounts and costs associated with removal of grass, weeds, litter, and trees to the Miami County Auditor for collection. Whereas Chapter 743.04 of the Ohio Revised Code and Sections 51.27, 52.134, and 53.31 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances provides that water, sewer, and refuse charges that are not paid when due and payable shall be certified to the Auditor of Miami County, who shall place the charges on the tax duplicate as a tax lien or assessment against the parcel or lot for collection as other taxes. And whereas Chapter 93.44 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances provides that costs incurred for the removal of weeds, litter, and grasses shall be certified to the Auditor of Miami County, who shall place the charges on the tax duplicate as a tax lien or assessment against the parcel or lot for collection as other taxes. And whereas Chapter 93.56 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances provides that costs incurred for the removal of trees shall be certified to the Auditor of Miami County, who shall place the charges on the tax duplicate as a lien or assessment against the parcel or lot for collection as other taxes. And whereas the municipality has been notified by the Miami County Auditor's Office that this year's deadline for the filing of such items certified for collection is September 10th, 2018. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, the water, sewer, and refuse accounts, plus properties for which the municipality has removed weeds, litter, grasses, and trees listed herewith as Appendix A and incorporated herein by reference as if fully rewritten, shall be certified to the Miami County Auditor as tax liens in accordance with Sections 51.27, 52.134, 93.44, and 93.56 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances. Section 2, the total charges against each lot and parcel shall be payable to the Director of Finance of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio by September 6, 2018, and if not paid, shall thereafter be certified to the Miami County Auditor in the full amount shown, including a 5% service charge levied by the Auditor's Office for covering the expense of the collection, for placement on the tax duplicate as a tax lien against said property, and said charges shall be collected at the same time and manner as other taxes as provided by law. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law.
Thank you. Manager Black.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, an annual resolution that we always do, typically this month. It's exactly what it says that it does. We have probably around 30 accounts or so of unpaid water, sewer, refuse bills over the course of time, over the course of this past year since the last resolution. It's about a half a dozen properties that we maintain or mow. And actually this year, there was a property who, the 2 dead trees that they just refused to take down. So we had those taken down. First time we've done a tree since I've been here. But the total's around $20,000. As the resolution explains, the finance director will send out bills by the end of this week, or invoices to each of these properties. Should they not be paid, then she shall certify it by September 10th to the auditor's office as a lien on the taxes.
So I have a question. The one with the cleanup and litter assessment, that was the one with the 2 dead trees?
Yes.
So just curious, I've never asked this before, but with the lawn cutting assessments, with an amount for a specific property, like the top 3, $550 each, how many times did we, cut the grass? What did that multiply? I mean, how many times we've done that?
By our
What's the
resolution,
cost?
we're only allowed to charge what our time spent there. So our employees mark their time. We charge $75 an hour. And then there is also a $125 administrative fee added to that by our resolution, for one time.
One time, okay.
Yeah, so, I would say that Joey probably did some of these properties at least a half a dozen times or more. What you'll find is a few of these that are less, once he's gone on property, and mowed it, for the first time, or maybe even 2 times. As soon as he mows it, he gives that time to Lacey, and then we send out an invoice immediately, letting them know, hey, you owe this. And then all of a sudden, miracles, they start mowing their grass,
Yeah,
so.
okay. Thanks.
Make a motion to accept CM-28 or 18-28 as written?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Land,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
Hurst,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Grudy. Yes. And Mayor Miller.
Yes. CM-18-29, an emergency ordinance for supplemental code. Ms. Brush.
Mayor, before the law director reads, I believe that, well, I don't want to speak for Councilman Land, but I believe there might be a question as to whether or not we should do this by emergency.
Okay.
Is there a reason why we need to do this as an emergency? I mean, is there a reason why we can't do 2 readings?
Well, when I explained it to Matt, the reason for the ordinance is to get everybody's books updated.
Yep.
So that everybody's on the same page. So, you know, to do it as an emergency, we can't update those books until this is passed. So I would consider it to be an emergency because everybody wants the safety and general well-being. Everybody needs to be current on what the ordinances are in order to enforce them.
Okay.
I brought in, when you bring in your code books, these are the replacement pages. This is just one for one book. Out of this is approximately 40 of those pages are changes that we have put into our books. The one that comes to mind the most is the RV ordinance. So that's now in here printed. But the vast majority of this is all changes, mostly to traffic code, some general and business regulations, but all passed by the state. But they are enforced by our police officers. So most of this is just supplemental pages that the state of Ohio has enacted. A few of these pages are obviously some of the new ordinances that we enacted or changed over the last 3 years. Because we usually go to the printer about once every 3 years or so to update our code books. So the vast majority of this obviously is state mandated. So I believe that's why the law director is recommending, as is American Legal Publishing, recommending it be done by emergency, just so they're incorporated into our code.
So they're technically, it's not just about placing it in the books. By this vote, we are enacting them as,
Well, they've already been passed.
okay, but I mean, is our vote just on putting them into the
It's
books?
just putting them in
Or
the books.
making them relevant in West Milton?
No, they're already relevant.
Okay.
You've already passed them. It's just putting them into a book, so everybody has a book, everybody's current. You don't have to rifle through a million different pieces of paper to figure out what's the current code.
Look back through 3 years of
Correct,
these to find the correct language.
right.
Okay.
Sarah,
Sense.
we'll have to take turns on who's taking one up to the soccer fields. Because that's where all the questions get asked.
You're right, you're right.
So at this time, are there any other questions concerning Jason? Do you have any other questions?
None of the other questions.
Okay. Are there any motions?
I have to read it first.
Oh, you gotta read it first.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I think the real question is, do you want her to read the emergency language, or do you want it as to emergency language? Would that be the consensus?
I think it constitutes emergency language as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what everybody else on council thinks, but
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. Thank you.
thanks.
Let me go ahead. Okay. An ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the Municipality of West Milton and declaring an emergency. Whereas American Legal Publishing Corporation of Cincinnati, Ohio has completed the West Milton supplement to the Code of Ordinances, which contains all ordinances of a general and permanent nature enacted since the prior supplement. And whereas American Legal Publishing recommends the revision or addition of certain sections of the Code of Ordinances which are based on or make reference to sections of the State of Ohio Code. And whereas it is the intent of this council to accept these updated sections in accordance with the changes of the law of the state of Ohio. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, that's a supplement to the Code of Ordinances of West Milton as submitted by American Legal Publishing of Cincinnati, Ohio, be and is hereby adopted by reference as if set out in its entirety. Section 2, the supplement shall be deemed published as of the day of its adoption and approval by the West Milton Council, and the clerk is hereby authorized and ordered to insert such supplement into the copy of the Code of Ordinances kept on file in the office of the clerk. Section 3, this ordinance is declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the peace, health, safety, and general welfare of the people of the municipality and shall take effect after its passage.
Thank you. Manager Klein, did you have anything else?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve CM 18-29, emergency ordinance for supplemental code as read.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Land,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
Hurst,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Dorman,
Yes.
Grudich,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Moving on to the manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and guests this evening. Welcome. Just a few items. Just learned actually today that I believe the July 4th committee is hosting a free movie in the park. I believe it's going to be the Avengers Infinity War. It will be this Saturday in the park, 9 o'clock. Bring your own blanket or chair. It's my understanding that there will be refreshments for sale. Kona Ice will be there selling their treats. And 100% of the revenues off of the sales of refreshments will be going to the July 4th committee for next year's celebration. So again, that's this Saturday, the 18th, at 9 o'clock in our park.
Who did you say was organizing that?
The July 4th committee, I believe.
Steve,
Yeah.
and Applegate, and
That's nice.
Also, we've been getting a number of calls asking us when the Fall Fling Car Show is. That will be actually September 22nd. Technically the 4th Saturday. It's always been the 3rd Saturday, but there happens to be 5 Saturdays in the month. We always, Brian Tomlinson is the organizer. He always has it the week prior to Tip Cities, and Tip is having theirs on the 29th. So therefore, it's on the 22nd. So it'll be Saturday the 22nd. From my observations, the cars usually start rolling in sometime after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Ben and his men will have the streets shut down typically around 1:30. Vendors and others, food trucks, et cetera, start rolling in about that same time. And then technically the show starts at 3 o'clock and goes till dusk. I don't know right now if the July 4th committee is planning on another movie. In the past, we've had a free movie in the park after the car show, but I can't say if that's actually going to happen or not. But that will be on September 22nd.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Did Brian manage it or run it last year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how can I get a hold of him, or if someone would want to participate in the car show?
You can open your shop up, no problem.
Not that, something else. Just, I've had actually a couple of people ask me,
Mhm.
like, where is his contact information?
Well, actually, if they just call me,
Okay.
he takes care of the cars mostly, and then
Okay.
that day he'll tell, go there, go there, go there. But
Okay.
I usually give him sort of a semi-list of people I know that are coming.
Because I know the farmer's market vendors will ask about it. They had
Okay.
asked about it last year to be
Mhm.
able to set up. Actually, I did have somebody ask about it this year, and where they're gonna be dispersed, so,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
After talking with Brian, actually, a couple years ago, the show was mostly cars, and then there were vendors over here. And
Yes.
so what he's been trying to do, I've recommended that to get the vendors mixed in
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
cars. So
Yeah.
you go from a vendor to a couple cars
And I
to a
think
vendor
they
to a
meant to
few
do that
cars.
last year, but everybody just kind of started setting up and
Oh,
then
it's-
it just, you know,
The guys
Nobody
don't,
knew where to go,
the
really.
people that own cars, and they all have their own space that they
Yeah.
wanna park and how they wanna park, it's,
so maybe like we'll have to cone out a spot or something for the vendors or,
yeah.
okay.
Do we know how many vendors we have, like food vendors that are,
It got so big last year, I lost count, to be honest with you.
are most of those folks coming back again this year, do you know?
Some of them have said they were, so I'm assuming they are. I've not been fielding all the phone calls, most of them have just been asking when it is, so they've put it on their calendar.
Got it.
I wanted to give you just a couple minutes, and I don't wanna go into too much and bore you with too much detail, cause I actually, quite frankly, don't have enough detail yet. But I've had some conversations with, Waste Management, our garbage hauler, and I have, also been reading, many articles in the news. There's nothing to make any decisions about tonight, but I've been also talking with Covington, Tip, Troy, especially Troy and Covington, because they pick up their own garbage and recycling. But, and I was educated on this, over 90% at one time, over 90% of our recyclables were going to China. And I can't tell you what Chinese were doing with it, but probably bringing it back as products that we purchased, I'm guessing, I don't know. But no comments aside, but that's where 90% of America's recyclables were going. Big container ships just going across the Pacific, going to China. Well, earlier this year, the Chinese government said, none, we're not taking any more, none, period, zero. So there are literally ships with recyclable containers floating out in the Pacific trying to decide what to do with the stuff, trying to find markets. What's happening is now we're getting our waste management teams, not just waste management, Rumpke, whoever does recycling, is starting to drown in recyclable material. And they're trying to find new markets. The net effect right now is that the price of recycling has gone up, and has gone up greatly. It's around it's well over now $20 a ton, where it used to be in single digits. And in fact, I know Rumpke just signed a deal with the greater Columbus area at $28 a ton. So Waste Management's nervous. Everybody's nervous as to what to do. And I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future, because I don't pretend to be a recycling expert as to where these products go. But if there aren't any markets and the price continues to go up, I could see that those costs are going to be passed on to the person who throws it away. So I just want to make everyone aware that this could be a future problem. I would highly encourage you to read as many articles as you can. There have been several articles. Waste Management has shared with us new methods and asking people to consider doing other things with recycling and how to recycle. They've passed that information on, and we've passed it on to Mr. Overbay, who's our website designer, so it should be on the web. I have to apologize, I forgot to go to our own webpage today to see if he's actually got it installed, but we're going to be putting out some educational material that Waste Management has been sharing with us. But it's just a concern of mine that I can see this really starting to go up. And I know it's a concern for Troy and Covington right now as well.
But by future problem, you do mean after our current contract?
There are some escape clauses in this contract, and I think I would not be surprised that there's a cancellation of this contract should recycling go that high. But I don't know where that pitch point is. So it's just something that I'm now becoming aware of, and I wanted to share with everybody.
And if they exercise that escape clause, that leaves us free to negotiate with other companies or
Oh, yeah,
entities again?
absolutely, yeah, for sure. there's a canceled contract. Unfortunately, because of the size of the contract, we would have to bid it out again immediately. They would have to give us a notice.
And is there any penalties for them for exercising any loopholes or escape clauses?
I'd have to reread the contract at the end, but I'll check on that and I can give you that answer on Friday.
What's the term on the term on the contract?
Should be 2 years left in their contract yet. I'm not an alarmist and I'm not a chicken little, but I just want to say that this is an issue I think all of America is facing as to what we're going to do. I'd hate to see us all of a sudden, I remember being a young kid and they started talking about recycling. And you took the pop bottles to the grocery store and you got a nickel for each pop bottle, right? And then you had to separate the glass and you had to wash everything. And then, the cardboard had to go here and the Boy Scouts had paper drives. And I remember being in the Boy Scouts paper drives and it was just trying to get people to recycle. And then over the course of time, they developed enough technology, what they called dirty MRFs, where it became very easy for everyone to recycle because you got the pizza box, you just throw it in the recycling bin. You got the jelly jar, you didn't wash it out, didn't matter. China's gonna take it anyway, so you just threw everything away in the recycling. You literally could throw 85 or 90% of your stuff in the recycling bin because they were gonna take it. Well, I would hate to see us reverse that mentality where, well, if that jelly jar still has a little bit of jelly in it, we're not taking it. And it's because, quite frankly, we as a people have become accustomed to being lazy or easy. And, if there's a little bit of grease on that pizza box, they're not gonna take it any longer. So I can see that all of a sudden, all that's gonna start going in the green container instead of the yellow container. And then all of a sudden, then we're going right back to where we were when I was a kid, so. Just something to keep an eye on. And that's all I have. I'm sorry, that's all I have tonight.
Any old business from council?
I think, guy, the DPNL light guy, sorry. My apologies. But, that light got fixed almost, I think it was like the next day it was fixed. Like, I talked to you on Tuesday and Thursday it was completely fixed.
Well, it made up for the one I forgot about. I gave the wrong address on Scott told me about.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Ours is still a disco light, so we can have a dance out there on the sidewalk. Ours still blinks
still
off.
flickering?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's possessed or what the deal is. Yeah, it still blinks. So we have a disco area out there at the
And
sidewalk.
I'll talk to you afterwards.
It's all right, no big deal.
We'll look into that. That needed some other problem.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm waiting on new business. I forgot something.
Okay, new business.
I wanted to give everyone an update on the ODOT projects, but I've asked Ben to actually do that, so, sorry. Yeah.
Just say it's a mess.
One, just has to drive through town to see that we have multiple projects going on right now. Just kind of an overall update because people like to know what their tax dollars are going for, so drive through town. Really, we're looking at bridge rehab right now, gas lines, we're doing sewer line rehabs, storm lines, catch basins, especially on Miami Street where they're gonna be paving, concrete, asphalt work, and there's a couple other side projects going on besides that. So, we had 8 crews going in town today, and trying to make sense of all that becomes a little confusing sometimes, but I think we're doing well. So, we're looking at about Wednesday, the 22nd, which is a week from tomorrow. The paving should begin on 48. The reason we need to bring that up is because it's going to be difficult at times to get through town. Our emergency services are all aware of this too. We've been keeping them updated. If you're not sure yet where we're going, the culvert on the north end of town that was redone in the last year or two, they're starting there and going south, approximately to where the 3-lane section begins, out front, just north of the city building. But actually, they're gonna do that in reverse. They're gonna start at the south end out here, and then they're gonna go north.
So if you happen to live on that street, Mr. Mayor, there might be times you can't get out of your driveway, but it's a very good crew. I think I've met with them 5 times now to make sure this goes as smoothly as possible and to work on some things that weren't done properly the last time, because I don't think I'll see it paved again while I'm here, so not planning on it anyway. So when they go north, the biggest question we've had is why are they skipping the intersection in the worst street or the worst part of 571? The reason is when they get to that intersection, they're gonna lift up, they're gonna go on the other side of the intersection, then go north to the culvert. When they are at the intersection, they're gonna be putting down a different product called Super Pave. It's a pavement that is actually resistant to heaving and pushing for all the truck tires, all the vehicle tires. We insisted that they take the Super Pave farther west, which is why it's still so rough there right now. It was for a good purpose, it's just taking a little bit of time. We've been trying to maintain it as good as we could, but that will all get done along with new loops to complement our new traffic control box that we put in last year. So after the bugs are worked out from the intersection, which I expect to take a week or 2 to get everything worked out, probably, hopefully sooner, that will be taken care of. 571-48, the other issue is because of all the cars and truck traffic, it's gonna be impossible for them to do during daytime hours. So that's gonna be an overnight project. You know, right now I don't have the date for that, but as soon as we get the date, we're gonna put flyers and doors to let people know what to expect. It's basically gonna be one night of noise and work, but safety and to have a good quality project done, it's just, you can't do that kind of work up there anymore in the daytime. It's impossible, and somebody could really get hurt with all the traffic that comes through there. So we'll make sure that's taken care of. So, like I said, there's gonna be delays, so we're just asking for everybody's patience, because we still will have some other projects going on some of the side streets they might wanna cut down. We don't want anybody to get hurt, but this is a pretty big project, and like I said, we've met enough. I think it's gonna be done right, and you guys will be happy with it. We'll have the downtown done and striped for the better once it's done, which will hopefully follow within a week from when they pave. So I like to wait at least 7 days because there's still a lot of emulsions on that new asphalt, and we don't want that new thermal to be black within a day. So I like to give it a good rainstorm in a week before we put new thermal on our section. So, but anybody that has questions on the work going on, I know my number's out there because they've been calling. So just we'll get it done. So I'm just asking for people to be safe and patient. Thank you.
So question for you, the only night work is there at 48 and 571 where the traffic lights are at?
That is correct.
Everything else will be done during the daytime?
Correct.
Okay, just curious, going out J Road, out of town, what work's being done there? Is that?
Oh, that's gas line. Yeah.
Gas lines.
Yeah, they had to tie in that dual main on Market because we wouldn't let them tear into that pavement. So they have 2 separate tie-in points. That was actually outside of the work zone where they weren't allowed to tear pavement. So, yeah, they're tying in the dual gas mains. In fact, they should be done, this tie-in should be done tomorrow, I believe. So that they should be clearing out of there except for the restoration tomorrow.
Okay, very good, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. I have just one other piece of new business. I received a letter last week, and I felt like this would be a good time and place to share with the rest of council. And I'll read this aloud. Dear Mr. Mayor Anthony Miller, I feel compelled to write this letter in regards to one of your police officers, Ryan Engel. On the 20th day of July, while attending a birthday party for a friend, we were gathered under a tent and enjoying a meal. As my wife Wanda sat next to me, she suddenly got choked and was unable to communicate or breathe. Ryan was sitting at the next table and realized the seriousness of the situation. He immediately performed the Heimlich maneuver. It took several attempts to get the food dislodged, and eventually she began to breathe normal again. I feel like his training and quick action without hesitation saved my wife from injury or death. We feel like God has put us close to Officer Ryan on that particular day. We are forever humbled, honored, and thankful to him. When we attempted to thank him for what he did for us that day, he was very humble in accepting our thanks. Wanda and I just wanted to write this letter to make sure you are aware of the outstanding officer you have in West Milton, Ohio. He is quick to serve others. The irony of this, the irony that this was a birthday party for a fellow firefighter, and the party was filled with firefighters and paramedics that are well trained in this maneuver. Officer Ryan, however, was the first to leap to action and immediately take care of the dire situation. This proves that we are all brothers and sisters in blue, and the type of badge we carry does not matter. Forever grateful, Robert and Wanda Connolly, retired District Chief, Nashville Fire Department. So I'd just like to say thank you, Ryan, for the great job that you've done, and I'm sure that we'll
pass
putting
that on to Ryan.
Passing that on. So, but I felt like that would be worth reading, and what a great job that he did. So, and that's all I have. Any other new business?
I just have one other question with the ODOT. The work that's being done on the bridge, when are they projected to be finished with that?
I should know that tomorrow. The project supervisor was supposed to call me this afternoon or tomorrow morning to give me a time frame, mainly for traffic reasons on Washington and all of that. So I don't have that date yet,
Okay,
but I'll pass it on to Manager Klein as soon as I do.
very good. Thank you.
Any others? Any comments by citizens tonight?
Hi dear, I don't want to jump in line in front of anybody. Can you hear me okay? Does the microphone work?
Yes.
Good evening, I'm Lauren Bowen. I'm here visiting from the State Treasurer's Office. It's genuinely a pleasure to be out here with all of you this evening. This actually, of all things, is not my first time out here in West Milton. I have long-standing roots in this county and actually went to church camp up at the Ludlow Falls.
Yeah.
I went fishing in that little pond and stayed in those little white cabins, so that's really fond memories. And then, did you all used to have that ice cream stand that was a caboose here in the town? I remember vividly going to that.
Oh, you know what? Or was that Pleasant Hill?
Pleasant Hill, it's still there.
Yeah.
You can relive that memory
Okay.
up till 9 o'clock.
So it genuinely is kind of good to be back in the area. And honestly, I had wanted to circle around and get your thoughts about something really quick. And we are circling around to every local government across the whole state. There's 3,962 local governments, and we're genuinely going to have a conversation with each and every last one of them. So anyway, your feedback and thoughts are much appreciated. And essentially what we're trying to do is coordinate an effort to make public records available online throughout the local communities here in Ohio. We accomplished this effort at the state level back in 2014 across all the state agencies so that you can understand how every last dime of your tax dollars are being spent at the state level. I mean, genuinely, the $2 for the PAX pencils that the Department of Education is spending, and then to the other extreme, speaking of ODOT, the multi-million-dollar road contracts that they're spending money on to keep our roadways torn up all summer. It sounds like your community's no exception. So anyhow, having that technology in place, having the know-how in place, we thought that we would have a conversation with local governments to see if we couldn't accomplish the same end in a partnership and a coordinated effort together. And I was doing some reading about your accounting system. You have CMI. I think that we've talked with Jill about this just to make her aware and updated. And I'm happy to report that when we first started this, I was a little more unfamiliar with how to easily make our system compatible with CMI, even though it's always been compatible. I just needed the training. So I have since gotten the training. I've helped communities like Arcanum, just a little bit north of you. I was in there all of 5 minutes and we were able to set this up. So I just wanted to make sure that before I came out here to have this conversation, that it would be very easy for Jill, that it wouldn't be something that would take her eons to do. What I consider cracked the code, gotten it down, so literally a few minutes of her time would be all that would be involved to set this up for the village. And in that way, we're just kind of hoping maybe to get your blessing on implementing this tool here in the community of West Milton.
But I know that one of our recent projects that we've kind of tasked the city manager with, he's kind of let others have at it. Their being their forte is kind of updating our website and
Sure.
kind of try to get more of that information out to the public. And
Sure.
so that's been kind of a forefront. So it's kind of
Okay, timely.
it's yes, perfect time that you showed up
Okay.
and are having this conversation
Wonderful.
tonight. So.
Well, that means a lot. I'm
yeah.
really glad we worked that out.
But so, I think it's a great idea. I think that, you know, we've always been pretty good stewards, well, not us, the employees here have been great stewards of the city's money, but, for the public to be able to see exactly how good they're doing, I wouldn't be opposed to something along those lines. So I'm not sure how much in the way of man hours it would take, Jill, or
Yeah,
anything,
Jill
but.
and what I would do is, because I'm through the area a lot,
Mhm.
and I know that, just to make it as easy on Jill as possible, because that's my main concern in setting this up for any community I'm in, is that it's not any extra work on all of you, or Jill, or whoever. And I could sit down with her in person, and in 5 minutes, I'd say, Jill, click here, click there, and it's done. And genuinely, that's all that's involved.
And then does the state host that?
No,
Or
we
is
do.
it-
Well, we do. I think it's important that to let you know, we do link it to our website along with all the other 1,000 communities that have done this. But then in addition to that, and I think more importantly, it's important to emphasize that it does generate your own unique URL here.
Okay.
That would read westmilton.ohiocheckbook.com, and then you link that to your website as a layer and a feature to your already great resource for the community.
Okay.
What all information is shared with the?
Most certainly, yeah. So every meeting you get a listing of your bills that were spent. At least it's pretty conventional for that to happen, just so that you have a point of reference for what payments were made from the village funds for the past 2. You may get those every other week or once a month, I don't know, here in your community exactly. But it's essentially culminating those payment reports across several fiscal years and making it so that it's a listing of those payments, but that's also displayed in a way that's easier to read, easier to understand. It's connecting those payments to a fund so that you can understand what was specifically spent in the police department, the fire department, and it's just a really more convenient way, easier to digest means of understanding the spending information.
No, I have a quick question, because
Sure.
I thought I read about this a while back in some of the literature that we used to receive. Isn't there a fee that?
No.
There is no fee for this?
Please, yes, I'm so glad you asked that. At the state treasurer's office, we have incurred the ability to share this as a service with the communities who choose to partner with us. So we could have 100 more communities join, it would still be the same cost as it is today. We've already paid the fee, we've already taken care of the upfront costs, the upfront mechanics of getting this set up for these communities, and it is no extra cost for you. The only thing it costs the village is 5 minutes of Jill's time.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I know the state treasurer's website gives like information on what public employees make, teachers' salaries, things like that. Is that kind of information also placed out there on their municipal employees?
We have some communities that genuinely get a lot of questions where it concerns salaries, and they want that as a part of their platform. We have others that want payroll reflected more as an aggregate, more as just a big expense rather than being associated with somebody's name. You just have to let us know what you prefer.
So what kind of control do we have on the flow of information and how it's displayed at your end?
So I think that the most important thing for me to point out regarding your question is that we set up a beta test site for you before we make it live, and we do not make it live until anyone and everybody on council, Jill, whoever wants to lay eyes on it, build their comfort up, level up with it, and then from there we get your final permission in writing to make it live. With that being said, if you look at it and there's certain things that need to be changed or adjusted or that you feel more accurately would convey the fiscal information of the village, we would work on our end to accommodate that request. So there is a review period of time to make sure that it's reflecting the most accurate information.
Any thoughts on this, Matt, or what you've heard from other communities or seen or experienced?
I've not talked with anybody that's been doing it yet. We've been.
But we're always openly transparent here.
Well,
Everything gets announced and put out.
Anybody that ever asks anything of us, that we give 100% of all the information that's a public record. The only, when this was first approached to us, actually a couple mayors ago, that was also the time when the local government revenues were drying up, so there was a little animosity towards the state. During that mayor's tenure, the position was, we assumed it was free to sign up, but a couple years from now, there's probably going to be a fee. So it was decided not to participate at the time. I'm just giving you history. As of right now, I really don't, I mean, we're an open book. All 3,900 municipalities are an open book, so this would just be opening it up in another fashion. But I think council would have a decision should the software company charge a fee a couple years from now for maintenance.
So would we have to pass an ordinance to participate in this? Or would this just
I'm
be?
assuming so, because I believe the village of Covington is doing it now.
The village of Covington has recently decided that they would move forward with this. I wasn't made aware that they passed a resolution. Most communities don't pass a resolution, mainly because it's just, as you were saying, choosing to make what already is public record available in a different format and of a different means.
Right, since it's free, the manager's office would be able to implement it. But I'd want the blessing of council and the understanding of council that this is what you want.
And if anywhere down the road, if a decision is made to change how that information looks on your end or is displayed, we have some say-so in that too?
Yes, you certainly do. A, it's not made live until you get your final approval, and B, this is something you can opt out of just as easily as you opt into it, and we can take it down as easily as we set it up. We have not had of the 1,000 communities anybody ask us to take it down, but we always offer up that disclaimer, because this should be a public service, something that's positive for your community, not something that's causing a bunch of headaches and heartache. So if it indeed were to ever get to that point, which we're hopeful it wouldn't, and we're confident it wouldn't, but we wouldn't want that to be the case, we would certainly make that accommodation at your request.
And what local similar sized villages
Sure.
would we want to look at to see how it looks on their behalf?
So in Miami County particularly, we're in the midst of working with Bradford, we're in the midst of working with Covington. And we've got Miami County's data recently. They're not live yet. But Casstown and Fletcher have been live for some time. Bethel Township has been live and published for a couple years now, if not 3 years. Bradford Schools just agreed to it this week, so they're not live yet. We've just had a lot of recent interest in Miami County with this effort. And I know that Troy emailed me recently, and they're in the works of thinking about submitting their data. So really published sites to look at, oh, and Pleasant Hill, they're another one. They've been on for 3 years now. And they keep their site really updated. I mean, that to me suggests that they're happy with it, that they're having a good experience. If they're in an unsolicited way updating their site and providing the most recent information, it seems to me like those communities are wanting to have it be a mainstay.
Do they update monthly, quarterly?
Honestly, that would be something you could decide on your own. Now, Pleasant Hill, they do it annually because the auditor's office through UAN will handle it annually. With Jill, it's a lot easier to do it more frequently with the CMI.
Okay.
UAN is not
It's-
as easy to update
Yeah.
quarterly or monthly.
So it comes down to us, it's kind of on us to when to submit the data,
Yep.
to update it.
Yep.
And what kind of a workload does that put on Jill? I mean, is it just a simple
Yep.
click of a button, or does
Once
it
you get-
take some time to?
Once you or Mayor Miller or Matt gives Jill the wink and the nod to move forward with this, all I'm gonna do is come out and say, hey, Jill, give me 5 minutes of your time, let's sit down together in front of your computer and click here, click there, it's done.
So this is all information she's already put into
Yes.
CMI, and it's literally just
That-
transferring
Yes,
it?
Data
it's
integration
a data
tool.
dump. Think of it as data that's already being captured in CMI anyway for the purposes of the audit, for the purposes of if anybody asked for it anyway, it would have to be regurgitated off the accounting system because it's public information and it has to be archived. And it's archived in your system. We're just taking it and making it so it's in a more user-friendly, digestible format.
Now, is
Yeah.
there a type of contract that has to be signed?
No, no. All it is Jill being willing to sit down with me retrieving the data with her, then me circling back to Matt, her, any of you, and saying review the site. And then all we ask is just a written email, I approve, and the site goes live.
Okay.
That's it. There's no contract.
And if we ever want to pull out, we just send you another email,
Yeah,
or?
Jill just says, hey, look, Lauren, please take it down,
Okay,
and I'll tell the powers that be
okay.
that it needs to be taken down.
Yeah.
So that's just the long end of it and short end of it.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate your time. Is it one of the things that you think it makes sense for me to re-engage Jill, you know?
I think.
Which is fine,
Yeah.
just call my office or call Jill's office.
Great,
Right.
okay. I'll be in the area quite frequently in the next couple of weeks because of county fairs and things, so maybe, you know, if it's a go-ahead, I'll just swing by here and make it this point in my stops.
Okay, that'd be fine.
I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for hearing me out. It really means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments from citizens this evening? Seeing none.
Good job.
Thank you. Move to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, how about we do this? How about I go out